everyone, Jeremy Tyler coming to you today from Springfield, Missouri. Of course, I want to address an elephant in the room here. We have underperformed the market this year, and I want to let you know that that doesn't meet my expectations. We're not here to underperform. Our job is to outperform. So for those of you that are having second guesses about our abilities, I want to share some topics with you today, and I appreciate you hanging in. Now would not be the time to jump ship on our strategy. Sometimes it's really hard to keep going with what you believe is going to be the right one, or being positioned for the market to go down when it continues to go up. But there's several things that have changed and are changing. For one, the election is over. The false employment numbers and inflation data and all that stuff likely will cease. We've got a couple of other factors, like SMCI is a company that was about to be delisted because they are one of NVIDIA's biggest customers, actually their second biggest customer, and they're in trouble with the Securities Exchange Commission for not sharing their books. They're basically cooking the books, round-tripping money they call that, so they sell stuff to each of their own companies, and then they happen to be NVIDIA's second biggest customer. Just yesterday they were given a small extension until, what do you know, NVIDIA's earnings report tomorrow night. Once NVIDIA's earnings are out of the way, which I believe will be in line, right, so that's a non-market event, I think that you'll see the market begin to roll over, and it's no secret to any of us, this economy is not in the shape that the stock market is in. We just have to hold our ground. We will receive our payday, I believe, by the end of the first quarter of 2025, if not sooner than then, maybe before Mr. Trump is in office. So today what I want to do is to show you how we use an indicator called MACD, Moving Average Converging Divergence. We don't have to get into the details of what it means. It's a line on a chart that helps you know if something should be going up or going down. We're going to look at the S&P 500 from 3 different time frames. What's important when looking at charts is to say a one-day chart might be something that you're going to buy and hold for a month or so. Then you look at a week chart where every bar on a chart represents 1 week. And then we'll zoom way far out and look at a 1 month chart, which will show us that we're in a topping pattern. So on the first chart, let's look at the S&P 500 here represented by the SPY ETF. And let's look at it where it shows each candle you see here. There's a lot of green and red kind of dots. They are candles, but they look like dots on this graph, we'll say. Those represent a day. What we're interested in is the line across the bottom, the blue and yellow line. We'll just point out a couple of spots here recently where the blue and yellow line were at a high point, which also coincided with the market being at a high point. Roughly July of this year, we had a high point there, and then now we're at a high point again, but you can go back and see other examples where the MACD can help us know if the market is at a high or low point. The challenge with using a one-day chart is it's going to move around a lot. So we need to know, do we really feel that the market is at a high spot here? So we're going to zoom out. Now we'll look at a 1 week chart. So now on this chart, each candle, the red and green lines again, represent 1 whole week, a Monday through Friday trading session. The moving average converging divergence, the MACD, along the bottom here, the yellow and blue line, shows us value, much more value here. So see the time period from about July of 21 to January of 22, where MACD stayed elevated the whole time and the market went up at the same time. When MACD started to come down, the market came down. You can see when it was at a bottom, that would have been a good time to consider getting long or buying the market. And then the market went up from there. We're illustrating here, you'll see that the MACD is actually higher than it was in that past period. It's treading sideways and looking to begin to turn down, which gives us confidence that we should look to a 1 month chart and see what it's going to look like there. So when we flip over to an SPY 1 month chart, each one of these candles now represents a full month of trading. Different amount of trading days in each month, obviously, but look at this line, how it's pretty steady for many years. until we come into 2020 after COVID, where they've really been pushing liquidity into the markets here. You had a really high point there at, I believe that was about January of 22, where the blue line ultimately was at the high point and the stock market was at a high point. And we're actually at that level again. And you can see how the blue line is beginning to flatten out. So as it flattens out, that will give us the indication that the markets are at a topping point, and our strategy is still going to remain relative of being positioned for the market to go down. So now that we've seen how MACD can help us look at market highs or lows, what other factors are we considering in the market? Right now, I think that we get through NVIDIA earnings this week. I'm recording this on Tuesday. NVIDIA earnings are tomorrow. There's going to be some unemployment numbers coming up soon that I think will be very relative. Every Thursday they put out the initial unemployment numbers and continuing unemployment numbers. So there's a lot of things that I believe are going to change for the negative. As you know, there's a lot of politics still being played, but fortunately most of that's in the past. So in summary, you can see that the MACD is helping us to pick a topping spot in the market. I believe where we're at right now is the S&P 500 could retest, go back to the highs of maybe 6,200, so 3% up from here, which wouldn't be a lot of upside. And then there's just going to be developments in statistical data from unemployment and other factors that will put pressure on it to the downside. So during this time of Thanksgiving, we are thankful for every one of you out there. It does weigh heavy on my mind to know that we have underperformed. Most everybody that watches this video is a close friend of mine or a client that has become a friend. So I appreciate your trust. I don't take it lightly. I expect us to turn around any moment now. Wishing you a very, very happy Thanksgiving. I hope that you spend time with your family, and we'll talk to you on the next one.